For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in on your favorite podcast app. Glad to have you here. Oh, the election. Oh, the election. And I'm not into politics. First of all, I'm Canadian, so I didn't vote in the American elections, and it's fascinating, though, to be an onlooker, and that's what I'm going to be talking about for a better part of the show, because it's not even about specifics. I don't even know that I'm probably not even going to name any candidates. I'm just going to talk about the whole idea and process of elections, because where I'm from in Canada, very different story. So I'll have an outsider's view on politics, and also what the hell is going on with Twitter? I mean, it's a hot topic around the world now that Elon Musk has taken over and then fired and rehired and banned and unbanned and threatened $8 and then pulled back on it. I mean, just what the hell is going on? I don't even think Elon Musk knows what's going on with his company. That's all coming up next on The Scribble, and it starts right after this.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secret to losing 3 to 5 pounds a week without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt RX. For the last 2 decades, we've helped countless people lose thousands of pounds. And now it's your turn. Learn how to lose weight with one simple phone call and no prescription needed. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a risk-free money-back guarantee. So, if you're ready to start losing weight, call right now and get a free month supply with your first order of Body Sculpt RX. Call now. You have nothing to lose but the pounds. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. 800-459-6838. That's 800-459-6838.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. All right, let's talk politics for a second here. Now, see, I already know that just with that opening sentence, I've either invoked probably one of maybe 3 reactions from a lot of people. One of them, yes, oh, I love politics. Yeah, let's talk. The other one being, oh my God, I'm sick of hearing about this already. And the third one just being, I have no opinion. I don't follow it. I don't care. And so I always have to preface this by saying, I'm Canadian, so this is an outsider commenting about U.S. politics because, and I think a lot of people will go and say, it's not my country, so I really don't care what happens. I mean, the reality is, though, especially with these 2 countries, is, I mean, it does affect you to a point. Now, I mean, who the U.S. president is, or the Senate, or people in the House, that doesn't affect me as much. It's not my rights being taken away, right, as a Canadian. I do live in the United States quite a bit, but at the end of the day, I'm still a Canadian, and that's my homeland. So it's fascinating to watch the American elections play out, because it seems like the country is always in an election. It seems like there's always a campaign. It's like just when the president, whoever it is, like just when the president gets elected, there's already talk about, are you running again? And working on a campaign, and oh, I've got to go and campaign for this person because there's something coming up in 2 years. So as Canadians, we get it now, but I never really understood why our systems were different. In Canada, I don't vote directly for the Prime Minister. I vote for the local representative, and if they happen to be part of the party that gets the most votes in the most areas, then that party leader becomes the Prime Minister. So I could either love or hate Justin Trudeau, but I'm still not voting for him directly. Now, that also then makes people think, okay, well, if I don't like the candidate in my area, but I do like Justin Trudeau, that's where it's a little bit tricky, though, right? That's where you've got the person's own their own personal feelings about things. And, with the states, let's say it's abortion, it's guns, it's whatever it is. So I might not like my local person's stance on, or position on abortion, but Justin Trudeau has a different, and I'm giving these as examples, I'm not saying, but I might like his, even though he's the party leader. So do I give my vote still for the person that I don't really like, but I do like the leader of the party? That's kind of the predicament that you're in. Now, at the end of the day, he, the prime minister in that instance, is going to have a little bit more clout than the minions, the little peons in the party. Theoretically, you'd think, right? And so that's where the two systems, when it comes to the United States. Now, I can just speak from the Canadians with whom I was discussing the election all week, because it's not even just election day or election night. As you know, this drags on now for days in some instances, or weeks or months even. And we just don't get it. And so Canadians are kind of like, well, because Americans just love hating politics and arguing about it. And it's funny because, with Thanksgiving coming up for Americans, we heard quite a bit about, and it was also Americans discussing it, but there were so many talks about Thanksgiving dinners are going to be awkward because family members are getting into these political battles, and there's, going to be fights, and so-and-so's not going to come to Thanksgiving because they're a Trump supporter and blah, blah. And I kind of laugh because I have just a nauseatingly close family. And so we get together, all the time. Every holiday. I mean, somebody fucking blows their nose and we have a get together. Well, not now with Corona, but you get what I'm saying. And so I'm just thinking about all of the hours I've spent. My dad's birthday actually was just yesterday. And so we have a get together. Politics doesn't come up. I don't know who my brothers voted for. I don't know who, my dad doesn't vote, but my mom does. I don't know who anybody votes for. I don't know their policies. I would have an idea if my brothers didn't support gay rights. But again, maybe they're just being nice because they're my brothers, and so I don't know if that's what they make decisions on, because I don't know. It doesn't come up, and so I'm fascinated by how much politics comes into play when Americans are just going through day-to-day life. Like, it's crazy. And I think even in the workplaces that I've been in, I own the company, so we'll talk about stories that are in the news. So if Justin Trudeau screws up or does something stupid or is in a scandal or whatever, we're discussing that. But we're not getting into policy debates and things like that, because and I'll be honest, we just don't care. And it's so weird too, because you almost want to go and say we should care because this is our freedoms, our tax money, the future of our communities, right? But we're just not that engrossed in it, that entrenched in it. I can't even think of there's so many words that you can use. Now, in my hometown, we had a civic election just a few weeks ago. We were electing a new mayor, and I previously had, during the last campaign, so that I think was 4 years ago, I had interviewed all of the mayoral candidates, just for a little local news thing. I think there were 9 of them at the time. That was the only reason that I knew all of their names. Now, if you were to ask me then a week later, hey, JB, can you name all of the 9 candidates? I don't know that I could, even though I talked with them. And some of them I talked, 20 minutes. You know how politicians are. They talked and talked and talked. And I think I forgot most of their names the next week. So fast forward to this fall, just last month, when we had the election, I was pretty tuned out. Now, and again, you could almost say a mayor's race isn't really politics in the sense of, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, whatever your country parties are called. And I knew one guy because he was previously the mayor. He happened to be the first gay mayor. So, I knew him. And one of the women was in my neighborhood. She ran for city councilor years ago, and she was in the previous election for mayor, and she didn't win. So I remembered her. And then there was one other guy, but I don't remember how many candidates there were this time. It might have been 9 again, now that I think about it. When I went to go vote and I look at the ballot, I was just like, these names, I don't even, because my point is that that's how tuned out I was, and many people were. Now, when you look at the voting tally, or what do they call it, the turnout, voter turnout, I think it was about 40% or so. It certainly wasn't more than 50%. And I don't know if that's just a symptom of people not caring about politics, or just, it wasn't worth their time, or maybe they're, scared of the pandemic to go and vote in a public space like that. I don't know. But historically, voter turnouts are fairly poor in my province of Manitoba and really in Canada in general. So to watch the U.S. election drag out for days, and I mean, CNN, I was laughing because we were in Los Angeles on what day was the election? Tuesday. So Monday we were in I was in Los Angeles, and I was fascinated that CNN it's like election day. And when I say day, it's literally like it started at midnight, I think Eastern. And, we're flipping channels in bed before bedtime. And I was like, sorry, wait a second. So CNN already has live election coverage at 2 or 3 in the morning on the East Coast. Like, this is, you either are an insomniac or your remote control batteries died, or you're stranded at an airport, which, just has CNN on the TVs. But I just, like, that's a die-hard kind of, like, if you're just tuned in to the election, like, I would say literally 24 hours, I don't know. And again, like I said, it's the future of your country, so good on you for being that, tuned into it. But wow, like, that's just not something Canadians do. It's not. And again, I'm not saying one position is or one philosophy or mentality is better than the other. It's just, as a Canadian, being in the U.S. during an election, like, it's very strange. It's very, very weird. So again, kudos to everybody who does get out and vote. You hear that constantly in the weeks leading up to an election. So if you expressed your right to vote, awesome. If you chose not to, then shut up for the next 2 years or 4 years. It's kind of, my dad's one of those guys. I already said that he doesn't vote. And so, he'll just bitch about, the mayor or whatever. It's like, but Dad, did you vote then? Well, then shut up. Like, I mean, you can't go and you can't not participate. And then, like, it doesn't work. Go commentate. Like, whatever. Happy birthday, Dad, by the way. But yeah. So, yeah, a little bit strange to be a Canadian watching it. And again, it's also just so complex. There's this many numbers, and if this happens, then this happens, or this, and then there's runoffs and whatever. And again, an outsider is sort of like, if this makes sense to you guys, great. But there's just so many different rules in the different states and the way things work, and when you can count ballots, when you can't, and when... And it's just like, wow, it almost seems like, and this is the opinion of many Canadians, I'm not saying everybody, and I'm not saying just me, it's the opinion of many Canadians where it's almost like Americans want to have it complicated and difficult for something to fight about. Like, it just seems so weird that you have people that complain about the system and this and that. Well, then do something about it. I mean, so let's shift gears, though. Still on the subject of politics, the whole Nancy Pelosi, Paul Pelosi thing. I mean, that's, it's a very scary situation, obviously, and I'm not making light of it. I'm not making jokes about what happened, because I mean, the guy was attacked. Well, you know the story, and so I'm going to tell you why I understand how things like this happen. Now, I'm certainly not justifying. Okay, let me be very clear on that. I'm not justifying violence, threatening people, attacking, like any of those kinds of things. I'm not saying that that's the right thing at all. What I'm saying is I can understand why people get so frustrated now. Now, and again, it's because, the politicians themselves are doing the mudslinging. They're, talking about the competition. Like, I've never understood why political ads focus so much on the other guy. And I've said this about on The Bachelor and Bachelorette. When you get that one-on-one time with the person, so if it's the bachelor and then he's got the women coming to him, if this is you get like 2 minutes with this guy to make an impression, to tell him about yourself, to develop that bond, why would you use that 2 minutes to then bitch about 3 other people and put their names in his head and give them the attention? Like, I've never understood that. So when it comes to political ads, I don't get why I would spend $1 million to trash the competition. I don't know how much ad buys are. I'm just throwing out that number. Why would I spend that money to bad talk this guy or girl? This, like, why would I do that? I'm going to use that money to talk about my platform and why I'm great. And I'm not even going to mention his or her name. Like, why would I go and give them, like, that's, so it's fascinating to me that politics gets so mudslingy. And when there's that much aggression and rage and trash talking, of course that trickles down to the viewer. I mean, you're basically setting them up to be enraged and not trusting and whatever. So I understand why the guy wants to go and threaten Pelosi and break her knees and whatever, because that's what's being told to people. Again, let me be clear. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying go and threaten I'm not at all. But I get, that's what I'm saying, is that I can understand and appreciate this person's mentality and mindset. I don't have to agree with it and condone it, endorse it, whatever. But I can imagine where he's coming from and why he feels that way. And so that's kind of where I don't know. I just when people justify those actions, I get it. And so I think back to a situation that actually happened to me earlier in the year when Corona was happening and the tests were not easy to come by. Our company, we have dealings with China, with companies in China, manufacturers, and I wanted to get a bunch of tests and import them and help distribute them in my community, right? That's something that I'm looking out for the benefit of, the betterment of the people in my neighborhood. And so there was so much red tape, though, to get these tests imported. Well, I ended up going to my federal elected official and saying, can you help me make sense of this? Because it seems like I need to get approved devices, and then I've got to buy a permit or why do I need to do that? Especially with something like this, because it's considered a medical device, whatever. I can't make sense of this. Can you help me? You're the federal representative. This is a federal thing. It might not be your party that's in office, but you're the federal person. And I didn't get a response. And for weeks, I didn't get a response. And finally, now this is also a different situation for me because I have the platform. I'm in the newspaper. I'm on the radio. So that I can go and now I almost have to threaten and say, well, then I'm going to just tell everybody in the neighborhood about this. You realize that I have a newspaper column and stuff like that. So I'm going to go and say that I've reached out to you for help, especially during Corona, to help people in the neighborhood. And you're not even getting back to me. So, well, then I get a response, right? But it just sucks that you've got to play that game. And so I didn't hear from her, the elected official. I heard from one of the staff members. He called me from Ottawa, and he's like, oh, yeah, no, this is interesting. I'd like to know more about it, too. Oh, yeah, sure, let me look into it, and I'll get back to you. A week went by. 2 weeks went by. I didn't hear from the guy. So, again, I go and do I was going to say shots fired email, but you know what I mean. And just saying, look at this guy disappears. I don't know what the hell is going on. Why is this happening? And so then they come back and say, well, he doesn't work with us anymore. Okay, well, that's fine. But it slips through the cracks. Nobody got me answers. Nobody helped me out. There we go. This is my federal elected official. 2-3 months into the pandemic, me trying to help people. There you go. Now, the other instance was my provincial representative. That's called an MLA. And I had reached out to her for something because I had a question about something that either could be provincial or could be a federal matter. And I didn't know. And so basically I sent her an email saying, hey, are you the person, because it happens in Manitoba, but it's something that's kind of federally related, are you the person to ask or to get assistance from? So I wasn't even asking her to do anything, or I was just, is this you or is it not you? That's basically what I'm asking. I didn't hear back. Now, this elected official, this representative, kind of has a history of making comments about men and misogyny and all those things. So somebody had sort of joked me and said, well, you're a white guy, so she's not going to help you. And I thought, that's a really cynical view to have, but let me test this. I kind of have to know about this. Is this racism? And we're not even going to get into that debate where it's can white people be victims of racism? That's not where I'm going with this. But the fact that somebody actually says that about this elected official sort of makes me think it. And so I emailed her. There was no response. I then tweeted her. Now, this was many weeks ago. I tweeted her asking if she can reply to my email. No response. I sent a second email. No response. So what I did then, rather than be passive-aggressive or put her on blast or threaten her by going public with the story and naming names, was I ended up then creating 3 different email addresses with different names and sent her emails just with different questions. One asking for help, one asking for information, and one that was kind of misguided that it wouldn't be exactly for her, but would she help out and say, oh, hey, this is the person you need to ask. 3 of those emails, they were sent the same day, about 30 minutes apart in my test. She didn't reply to any of them. So here's an example of an elected official with four people, four quote unquote people, right? But four points of contact, four people contacting her, and she doesn't reply to any of them. So, I mean, you look at that and go, excuse me, we pay your salary. You work for us, and you haven't responded to 4 different queries from the community seeking your assistance. I mean, that would be like you going to your employee, if you're the boss, you going to your employee and asking them 3 times, a question or even just 3 different things, and they don't answer you. You would fire their ass. You wouldn't put, I'm the boss, you answer my questions. And so I was fascinated by that. Now, let me tell you that if this was something that I truly needed information, then I would be enraged. And this is where I'm going with this whole thing about, attacking Pelosi's husband, is because it's sort of like it's a cycle effect, right? Like, the politicians are getting threats all the time, but then it's kind of like, well, but your constituents wouldn't be acting this way. Again, not saying that it's the right way to act, but your constituents are acting this way because of you not responding to them. So if you start responding to them, maybe they would kind of chill out and not threaten you and call you names and thrash you on social media, right? So again, it's like, who's gonna break first, though? Like, whose attitude is gonna change to then get things on track and get things better? And so that's where, yeah, I could understand if I was those 4 people emailing. I mean, I was technically one of them, but I was all of them, but you know what I mean, that I'm reaching out to you with a question. Hey, you're my elected official. I need help. And you don't respond. Now, I understand that maybe an email went to spam or whatever it is, but when you're getting the same person contacting you more than once asking, it just seems professional or just civil to go and say, you know what, I'm actually not the person to answer that. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I can't help you. But again, if you're an elected official, that's where you take that one step further and go, let me find out who the right person is and get you that information. And so to just, to ignore 4 people reaching out, asking for information about the community, yet this is an elected official on the taxpayer's dime. Well, again, this is where that attitude from the constituents of, well, you get what's coming to you. Yeah, you're going to get dragged on social media. Yeah, you're going to get threats. Yeah, you're going to get whatever. And that's unfortunately the world that we live in. And so it's kind of, like I said a moment ago, like, whose attitude is going to change first? When will the cycle break? And, are we past that point even, I guess, is maybe the bigger question. Can people have good relationships with their elected officials? Even though you might, and this is where you always see all these people going and saying, well, we might not agree with each other's politics, but we still, get along. And I get that. But I don't know that revving up the audience, the mob, and telling them that the winner is such a bad person or whatever, well, but that also comes from the politicians. So it's like the politicians are stoking the fire. You're revving up the voters, the audience, and then the audience has that reaction, and then the politicians go into hiding. So it's kind of like, well, then we can't win because you guys are hiding from the people. The people are breaking down your door trying to get your attention and ask you something. And because that's set the tone already, I know we got to go. I'm sorry, super, super late on this segment, and I hope we have time to get other stories. Yeah? Okay. We're going to take a break. That's it. We're going to talk, though, Twitter, even better. More on the Scribble right after this.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer. Save the money, save the hassles, and get the better blue pill. Dial 800-578-0179. That's 800-578-0179. 800-578-0179.
This statement has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt, your shoulder hurts, and your back. Oh my God, your back. They're constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore, am I right? Well, here is something you haven't tried. Pain Absolve. Pain Absolve is not available in any drugstore. The only way to get it is by calling today. We're so confident that it will work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase, no prescription needed, and best of all, each purchase comes with a money-back guarantee. Call now to find out how you can get Pain Absolve and get rid of your pain. Call 800-319-0582. That's 800-319-0582. 800-319-0582. Call today. 800-319-0582.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on the Scribble. Let's talk Twitter, because I think just like politics, actually, this is a subject that kind of everybody is, I guess everybody's loving talking about it and bitching about it, but I guess is also maybe on the sidelines a little bit fearful about what's happening. And, the whole Elon, I'm not recapping the story. You know that he bought it. You know what he's been doing. It's a little bit weird to me that, people are so, I guess this is when it's your main avenue of communication. I kind of get it. Because when people are, blocked on Facebook after they posted something bad, or, so I understand that, but just when people have the freak out, like I was blocked for 24 hours as though that's the end of the world. And remember, I wrote a book called Put Down Your Damn Phone already, so I'm certainly not addicted to social media. I have no interest. I think now that I just think about Instagram, I think the last time that I posted, here we are in November, I think the last time I posted on Instagram was a shirtless birthday picture on like August 1st when I turned 40. So if that's any indication of my social media usage, there you go. Now, of course, we have Twitter for the entertainment headlines and different things that I, for our radio things. But when it comes to like my actual personal life, I don't tweet crap because I don't think that people really care. So it's funny how people are just stunned when they're banned for 24 hours as though it's like the end of the world, and then people have to do the big announcement of when they come back. And so it's funny to me when celebrities are doing that. We've seen a lot of them. Whoopi Goldberg was the one on The View. She said that she's getting off Twitter, but she's also somebody who says that she's got no interest in social media. She doesn't check it. She doesn't look. So for her to make this big announcement to say, I'm out, I'm done, but it's like, but I don't know that people really watched your every move on there anyway, right? Yes, you're a celebrity and you got a platform, but we know that you don't care about it. So we're not constantly checking your feed to see, because your last tweet was 2 weeks ago, right? And then you've got the other ones, Sarah Bareilles and Kathy Griffin was suspended, but, Valerie Bertinelli, all these people who are just she's the one who trolled Elon. But it's funny to see these celebrities go and do the big announcement that I'm leaving Twitter. And I love the comments, because then people are like, bye then, bye, see ya. And a lot of people are saying something about, like, this is not an airport, you don't need to announce departures, which I guess is, I don't know if that's a regular thing. But it's just funny to me, because then it's like, then go. The people are calling their bluff, going, well, wait a second, I've got, 1 million followers, or I've got 20,000 followers. This is a big loss if I just, go and cut it off. So I don't know. I'd love to know your thoughts about the whole Twitter deal. Live at jbonair.com, live at jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
Jeremy Bradley on The Scribble. We out. Talk to you next week. Bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a Speak Free media presentation.
If you want some